Hey there guys, what's going on? It's Skiddles here and I'm back to another episode of Sky Exchange. And in today's episode, we're gonna get caught up in our reading. Because we did some reading in the last episode, and it was just me telling you stories. So you can just sit back, maybe just put this in the background. You could even play like a game while you're listening. Because we're gonna read this book. So in the last episode we read the beginning of each of them. But then we've already made these three things, so I'm gonna read them just so that I can keep up on the story, you know. So Hellfire Forge. I have spent several weeks researching the uses and properties of demonic will. There has been some success these past few days, however it has been infrequent. Tiberius asked me the other day if he could take a sample of demonic will for a few of his other experiments. He mentioned that it might be what he needed to construct a new blood altar to replace the beat-up basin that we were using in Magus's basement, since trying to replicate that old thing with just stone never seemed to create the right receptacle for our blood magic. In other words, he thinks it may help. It hasn't been a complete waste, however. I consulted several different alchemy textbooks discussing its equivalent exchange and the many different ways to manipulate matter. I also talked to a couple of alchemists that were passing by, and they gave me a few tips on how to deconstruct matter and energy in order to study it more closely. As a side note, I must say I loved the dark purple armor that one alchemist was wearing. Just looking at it made me feel like I was being pulled by a dense object. Not talking about Tiberius either. From using those simple arrays with the little samples that I had, I managed to see that there were ways to actually tap into the power source inside of the demonic will. I just needed the right configuration, and I'm guessing those guys in the purple armor were from Project E, because they have the dark matter armor, and that's a dense thing. Dark matter is dense, a dense object, like very dense. So I'm guessing it was that. So that's how we made the Hellfire Forge. Then just today I managed to get a structure that I believe would fuse together items using this raw will, dubbed the Hellfire Forge. The structure uses a simple alchemy array carved into the glass on the top of it to fuse up to 4 items together while injecting it with demonic will. I'm so sorry. The piece of demonic will is placed on the right hand side of the 4 ingredients, and the 4 ingredients are placed around the circle. It appears that there are many different recipes available in this forge, but there are some gating effects on these. For starters, there is a minimum amount of demonic will that has to be in the sample in order for these items to combine. If there isn't enough will in the structure, nothing seems to happen. Next, it seems that although there is a minimum amount of will needed, most of the recipes don't drain the entire sample of its will. Some recipes need a vast amount of demonic will in order to start the process, but only a little bit is used in the crafting, if any at all. Some recipes seem to be very easy to create in large quantities, but others, not so much. Then we have the pretty tartaric gem. I went out on one of my now daily nighttime adventures in order to harvest some demonic will, when I began to realize one of the major problems with the collection method. My bag kept on getting full from all of the samples. For some reason, perhaps because the ultimate source of the demonic will is different for each sample, the will would not compress into a more manageable form, at least a physical manifestation of the will. Thus I went to work with the Hellfire Forge that was nestled in my corner of the house, pushing aside some of Tiberius's least unpleasant experiments and getting some raw materials for my own study. One of these days I am going to make Tiberius his own forge, since I am tired of trying to get rid of all of the dust that coats my workplace from his arcane experiments. I don't care that you are trying to bridge the gap between the ethereal strands of the soul network and the physical construction of the slates. Get your damned ash out of my stuff. Then Hellfire Forge recipe. No, that's not Hellfire Forge, that's pretty tartaric gem. Minimum will, drained will. I'm guessing that's the... Oh, that's wasting glass. Okay then. But we have that, don't we? Yeah, we have a pretty tartaric. Let's also place down the Hellfire Forge. This can go over here. And then I'm wondering, I'm guessing we're gonna need these in a sec. Anyways, it did take a while not to find materials that were most likely to resonate. Toggle downfall. Find materials that will most likely to resonate with the demonic will in order to store it in a better manner. Lapis seems to be the most readily available conductor of this energy, acting as a pathway for the will to be channeled. After adding some redstone to act as a shielding from electric fields in the air, adding 2. Anyway, it did take a while in order to find materials that were most likely to resonate with the demonic will in order to store it in a better manner. Lapis seems to adding 2 in from electric fields in the air. Adding 2 energies together seemed to cause disastrous effects. At least that's what Major said. Gold is a dampening agent and glass is a simple housing. I managed to create a very simple Tartaric gem. This means a gem from the underworld, Tartarus. After further tests, I found out that this gem could hold up to a will quantity of 64. When I presented these findings to Majors, he remarked that it seemed like a nice round number. When I tried to pick up demonic will afterwards, it seemed to go directly into the gem, unless full. After that, the will just seemed to disappear. Convenient for my backpack, but otherwise a mystery. I also learned that if I hold the gem in my hand and focused, right-clicked, about 10% of the maximum capacity of the gem would flow into other gems I had on my person. I think this last feature is very helpful, especially if we were to find other, the more powerful Tartaric gems. Huh. That's pretty cool. And sentient sword. Ooh, this is a short one. And I'm assuming the page is going to be a picture. Like, yeah. I knew it. Haha. My snares got tangled again. It doesn't seem to matter how much I try to improve the design of them, the rudimentary snare never seems to work perfectly. It just gets tangled most of the time, and when I finally do manage to hit a zombie with it, it's more likely to not work than work. In order to stop myself from pulling my own hair out, I went to the forge again and got to work right away. Well, not right away, since I had to first clean the ash off the top again. Then the recipe. I infused the demon will holding capabilities of the petty Tartaric gem with an iron sword and managed to create a blade that was very dull and hardly did more damage than my fist. I was actually very disappointed with the outcome because it took a long time of fiddling with the forge so that it would not overheat from the strain of using the petty Tartaric gem as its power source. However, as soon as I picked up my Tartaric gem, the sword started to glow with a new energy. It seems that the higher the amount of demonic will I have in my person, the more damage I seem to do with the sword as well, as the more demon will that drops. Whenever you don't have a gem, the will amount is very minuscule. After a bit of testing, I came to another realization. Depending on what I kill, I receive different amounts of will. It seems proportional to the amount of maximum health that the monster has. A spider, since it has a max health of 8 hearts, gives 80% the health of a zombie, which has 10 hearts. This is probably because these monsters require more will to animate. I should keep this in mind for later. Right, okay, that's good to know. But then, to put this in here, do I... or maybe it's in the Hellfire Forge. How do I charge this? Like, maybe it's if I... Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's cool. And then, we should probably keep the sword on us. Contains raw will. 5.55. Okay, right. Sentient sword, then lesser Tartaric gem. I was chatting with Tiberius today, discussing some of the projects that he's working on. I must say, when we start talking about his research, it seems that he just keeps going on and on and on. Anyway, one of the recent inventions he wanted to talk about was his sigils. So if I managed to create a water sigil and a lava sigil using the Hellfire Forge I finally constructed for him as a means to create them. I wasn't entirely sure how he actually made them. I knew he experimented by taking some ingredients and combining them inside of the forge using the Tartaric gem as a catalyst, but I haven't actually seen him actively experiment yet. Well, I got some insight finally as to what he uses that blasted ash for. Let's see if I can mimic what he said properly. Ahem. By using the demonic will contained inside these gems to transmute the ingredients, a reaction occurs between things that normally don't do anything when combined. By harnessing this force synergy, I am able to inscribe several arcane symbols and patterns that will direct the energy that I add myself to perform the desired task. Although it doesn't show well in writing, picture me saying this while pushing glasses up the bridge of my nose. I'm not sure if he's normally like this, but I swear he gets all sciencey when he explains things to me. At any rate, he showed me how to create a water sigil by demonstrating it to me. After the admittedly flashy demonstration, he then got to the meat of the discussion. When I tried to replicate this process with some more advanced materials, it seems that the reagents tend to explode when added to the alchemy array. They seem very unstable. My thinking is that the ingredients aren't getting properly fused together. Perhaps there is not enough energy in the forge to fuse them properly. After thinking about this for a few minutes, I got to work. As I mentioned in the previous entry, I figured that a more powerful tartaric jam would be required, but I still haven't figured out exactly how I could do this in an elegant way, so I decided that a brute force approach would be sufficient for this. Wait. Minimum well 60. Okay, so I need a diamond, a lapis block, and a block of redstone. I took a, let's get all that stuff first. A block of lapis, block of redstone, and a diamond. A block of... No, I think it's just a regular diamond. Do I not? Okay. Redstone. A lapis. And do that. Do we have a crafting table up here? Nope, we do not. Crafting. We don't have, okay. I forgot for a second then. Do that. And make blocks of you. That way we can learn it as well. And do. Does that have to be in the exact way? Wait, let me just double check. Diamond. Gem, music, tin, a little well. Block of redstone and a lapis, so the block. And then the diamond, then the petty. Is it because it has some in it? How do I make that again? It was white stain. Oh, okay. Maybe it was just glass pane. No? Was it just white stain glass? Or was it just glass? Then it was also a piece of lapis, piece of yew, and a... what was it? It was something to dampen the effects. Remember that being said. A petty. Gold. Oh, okay, gold. I like gold. Right. Do. You don't take one. There we go. Oh wait, is it because I'm trying to make it in this? I also need to use the Hellfire Forge. Do. No. Do. Oh. One of you, and one of you. Wait, what? I want to make... No, I don't... Oh, wait, that's because I have petty typed in. Tartaric gem. A lesser tartaric gem. So yeah, it is. So I need a petty, a diamond, a lapis block, and a redstone block. How much? Oh, maybe I don't have enough. Okay, I need to go kill some more stuff then. Let's go see if there's anything spawned in the nether. I might have to make a mob spawner. And do. And do. Don't want to accidentally knock you off. This is taking far too long. Okay, there we go. I'm at 6.55. I doubt that'll be enough. I think we need like 20, I'm guessing. Or it said minimum will 60, so maybe 60. Then it also says something about 20. Minimum will 60. Drained will 20. So it'll drain 20. It needs to have at least 60 though. I don't know. Oh, let's take one of these. And do. Alright. Well, I'm gonna have to make a mob spawner, which I'll probably do off camera in between this episode and the next one, because, you know, you guys don't want me to make you don't want to watch me make a big massive rainbow mob spawner. And yes, the mob spawner is going to be rainbow. Like, come on, of course. I'm not sure where I'll make that just yet. But it'll probably be like, that's over there. Britannia will go over there. Or maybe I'll have the mob spawner that way, because then I can have the farm going all that way. So yeah, I think I'll do the mob spawner over here. And for now, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. It's raining again, so we're gonna go to bed. If you haven't enjoyed, make sure you check out all links in the description down below for us. And until next time, on this rainy episode, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye!